here.
Hello.
It's to be back again.
Yeah.
How are you? Good to see you again.
Yeah, so good to see you.
Hello, ladies.
Hello.
How are you?
Yes.
Uncle.
Good.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. So, hello, welcome back to our Let's Talk Marriage discussion series. Today we are going to be talking about parenting. We know that a lot of parenting podcasts are out there, and we're just going to top on it and see what we can get to today. And our main series is on the immigrant family. The immigrant family that's trying to parent a child in a different land, in a different environment, in a different nation, in a different culture. Mm-hmm. How do we do it? How do we get ourselves accustomed, acculturized into this culture that we're finding ourselves? So first of all, I'm going to introduce to you again my team as we talk about this. So welcome, Sam.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Welcome, Kofo.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Welcome, Yinka. Good to see
Thank you.
And good to see you all. My name is Yinka Marcos as well. I want to get the ball rolling with some of the things that I have learned also from my practice as a counseling therapist. We know that there are many different stages of life. Understanding the human development stages will be really good for us as parents, because when we understand all these stages, we'll be able to address or communicate together with our children and make sure that they get all the stages right. The first stage is between 0 and 2, where basic trust is needed. We need to really make sure that the child is changed when they need to be changed, when they need to be carried, we carry them. So most of the significant relationship on this is the mother, because the mother is the one that's usually there at this stage. So the what the child is thinking is, I hope I can get what I need. I hope that I can trust the world around me. So the virtue that the child actually develops at that time is hope, once they're able to get their needs met. So let's go on to, I'm not going to go into all the stages, but I just want to introduce you to it if you haven't already. From this stages, I know that a lot of professions actually teach this. Social workers, childcare workers, they go into all this stuff. So if you want to know more about these stages and how to work with your child, just go online, Google it, the Understanding the Human Development Stages, Erik Erikson. That's what I'm using here. And so between 2 and 4, the child needs to be okay, be able to be autonomous and not doubt themselves. So we need to work with that, like toilet training is important, choosing clothing for themselves is important as well. And then by the time they are 5, we want them to have a sense of purpose and to say, it's okay for me to do or to move and to act and to do things, exploring, you know how children explore. And I always say that when children are getting into things, they are exploring. They're not messing things up like we think they are. And they're just exploring and using tools. And we need to build that up with making art and helping them to use their hands and fingers. And as it goes on, 5 to 12, they want to build competency, 13 to 19, they want to build fidelity, where they are now about identity. Who am I really? What can I become? And so at all these stages, the parents need to be there to help them to achieve all these virtues. They are all virtues that they need to achieve. So let's just even talk around that, because I remember my own parenting was different from what I'm learning or what I've learned. It's very good to learn from people who have done it before, like we always say. And so what's the difference now between when we were parenting and what we have learned after we have finished parenting our children from in those young ages? What's different, Kofo?
Yeah, for me, if I would go back to be a parent again, one thing I would do more is listen more to the children, whatever age, and then talk more to them, especially at the early ages, like the 0 to 2. You're talking about, we might think that the children are not hearing what you're saying. What you realize is that everything you say just gets kept in there for the children, and in due time they'll pour it out. They'll pour it out back to you. So don't withhold from them. And when I say communication with the little ones, 0 to 2, everything you're doing, whatever you're doing, if you lift up this cup, I'm going to take this cup up here, I'm going to put it here, and it's no longer there. It's, just all those concepts. Before you know it, but by the time the child start to talk, they will be able to pick up the concepts. They have so many concepts in there.
They're observing
actions, the things you do. So I would parenting, I would want to hear more from my children and talk more to those little ones as they were growing up as well.
That's great. So because they're very observant, they watch and they take it in, and then they use it. They use whatever they see.
Yeah.
And it's important that we model good things for them as well. So, okay. So we talked about respect and honor, and I just want to throw it out to you, Sam, to even look at that. Is it possible to respect? To respect and honor our children without losing our position as authority in the house?
I believe it's absolutely possible, and we just have to come to the reality that we are all equal before God. We have our roles and parts to play in every situation and circumstance, like in a family, and we are all obliged to work to make all things work together for the good of all of us. That means we are bound by the force of unity of God. So to that extent, if you want to correct a child or discipline a child, you must discipline that child in love. You must discipline that child firmly so that the message can be registered. But in love is what retains the relationship. If you treat that, look, I've been asked, if you do this one, it's a tooth for a tooth and eye for an eye. So off to your bed right now, no more outing for you today or even the rest of this week. And the child looks at you, might respond at first, but second time around, because they have a very short span of time to remember the punishment, he's come around and then still looking at you, you're still looking very strong and not willing to, then something else is going on. And we talk about something like child psychology. They study us a lot, and they read us a lot more than we do even read ourselves. And when they withdraw it to their own closet as a reaction to what they saw, you may not even know. You will still think that either they're on the same page or they've gone sick or something like that. Meanwhile, they were only reacting to, why do you have to maintain that kind of a stern face with me for so long? Children don't understand much more than just a short time discipline and then you move on. So it's possible, and if you will say use one hand to cane a child, but use the other hand to do what? To draw that child back to you. When the child sees that they are disciplined and in love, they take it more to heart, and it works for them more than the other way around. Parents have to divulge themselves from draconian lifestyle or Lord of the Rings
Yeah.
approach or methodology. It doesn't work much.
Like disciplining in anger.
Oh my goodness.
That's no
You just lost it.
respect.
That's dealing with the respect. You
Okay.
won't respect you.
Thank you.
And I think that the sanctions that the parents, if they have to give a sanction, should not be more than the problem or the offense, because some parents tend to overreact and in anger and not in love, and that becomes a problem. But better still is because anytime a child does an offense the very first time at one time, and it may be they don't understand. I think spanking or doing anything like that at any time is, it can be done differently, really,
Yeah.
because if a child doesn't understand, like if a little girl, a baby throws an egg as a ball, it's because they think it's a ball, it's
Yeah.
explanation rather than sanction. And the other thing that I've noticed is that when I was growing up, I could see when you spank a child, they spank you back. They're just imitating, and people say, "Well, why are you beating me?" You want them to stop because I'm punishing you, really,
Yeah.
and you are beating me back. But maybe just
We didn't know we're modeling.
modeling,
Yeah,
just
modeling
imitating.
it.
Yeah.
We're modeling it. And that's why we're talking about spanking. We can talk about that for a long time and different schools of thoughts about that. But for me, I was the one that actually spanked our kids more. But when I began to realize that, the spanking actually doesn't fit the crime or the offense, because they don't see the correlation between being spanked and what they did wrong, whatever the wrong was. But then again, we need to be able to talk more. Conversation needs to continue, like Kofu was saying earlier. Converse and let them know why they're being reprimanded or disciplined for whatever it is that they have done, and at the end of it needs to end with a hug or a hold that will show that
Love.
it was done out of love.
Scriptures even embraces that when it says, "Parents, correct your children in love, but don't provoke them unto anger. Instead, bring them up in the way and the admonition, the training and admonition of the Lord." So the strike and balancing is very, very key there, so that they don't lose their personality, number one. Then number two, they don't walk off and run into wrong hands. Where you refuse to show children love at home, even though you're trying to discipline them, you're only pushing them into the outside hands.
Pushing them
And
away.
no one can trust or even ever phantom out how the outside will treat them. They welcome them with a loving arm, but by the time they finish with them, they are almost of no use to anybody again.
Wow.
They've done
Wow.
them. So
Let's talk about honor, Kofor, honoring who the child really is, the individuality, and
I always go back to what the scripture says about honor all men. Everybody deserves honor. Doesn't matter your age, whether you are one, even a 6-month-old child wants to be honored. That's why you're talking about Eric Erickson that says that 0 to 2, they want to build trust. That's honor. Because a child that you honor, you listen to that child. The child you honor, you talk to the child. You don't just leave them, because from where we come from, particularly in some homes, it's like a child should be seen and not heard. Meanwhile, children have a lot on the inside of them. In fact, my younger sister, who is a Montessori expert, says that every child has a teacher on the inside. So we don't even have much. We don't need to teach them per se.
too much.
They have it. We just need to be there. Recently, I did something about brain story, about the brain of a child, that a child needs to serve, and the job of the adult, whoever the adult or the child carer is, maybe the mom or any other person, is to return. to return to that child, and that's honor. That's when a child feels valued. That's, I mean, letting the child feel valued is honoring that child. But when a child doesn't feel valued, or you're not validating them, or their issues, or their, you know, whatever they're going through, that's not honoring.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And they too will not honor.
they will not. Yeah,
They
honor
do what
begets
they have.
honor.
been
Honor
given.
begets honor. Yeah.
Yeah.
You give what you get. I mean, you can't give what you don't have, and you can only have by learning from those who have and
Who
have
have
given
been
to
through it
you.
before.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I know you've been a teacher almost all your life. And not too long ago, you also started childcare, being a childcare provider, and learning a lot about children and what they need, and part of what you've just said. And just tell us a little bit about the work that you're doing with children right now, and what it's called, and why that name.
Okay. The name of my day home. Actually, my day home is called Oma's Place. I just love the fact that, you know, Oma actually means grandmother, and Opa is grandfather in Dutch. We lived in Holland for about 5 years, or for almost 5 years, and we decided that what would our first granddaughter then, when she was going to come, that what would she be calling us? That if we say call us in Yoruba, where we come from, it's going to take that child forever, because the sentence, more or less, to call us. We just wanted a word, and we didn't want an English word. Not that anything was wrong with English, we just wanted something, you know, local and indigenous to us. So we said, okay, we live in Holland, we love the culture, we love the people. Oma will be it. So then I said, okay, bring your children to, you know, when you take a child to a grandma's place, it's so special. It's a place of learning in love, because, well, I don't want to go into grandparenting yet. Let me talk about, so with my children in the day home, I've come to unlearn greatly.
Yeah.
Because we come into this environment, we're talking about immigrants. It's a different ballgame the way we train children. Like you say, you spank your children. I spank my children too. Until I learned that spanking doesn't work per se. It does not. The child doesn't even, no connection. But you can talk to the child. So what I learned in my day home is keep talking to the children. I see the children, the children who are, you know, born in this Western world. I see the amount of, you know, conversations they have, the amount of contents they have, the amount of contexts that they have. And I found out that it's because the parents are always talking.
Yeah.
In fact, when I started the day home, it was like, my goodness, am I going to die of talking? Because I'm always talking. Every second I'm talking about everything I'm doing. If I'm walking, I say, this is why I'm walking, or what do you think? You know. So, and before I knew it, the children are learning. I even teach my children, Caucasian children, my language. And I'm shocked to let them come back to tell me that Miss Kof was saying in Yoruba. I said, Yoruba, you remember that word? Yeah, because we talk and talk and talk and talk, and we talk until we drops to sleep. That's what we do, and that's what we need to do to our children. Yeah, and when we do that, we don't need spanking, but that's how the children would have taken in, imbibed the values that they really need. So, yeah, that's what I found out in my practice. Yes,
awesome. So we're saying, listen to them, talk to them.
Yeah.
Every child is born with an inner teacher in them. All we need to do is help that teacher to grow, and support that teacher to continue to learn, and to be even being very consistent. I know there's a saying that children are sponges to be soaked, you know, but we unlearn all these things, and we learn that children are as human as we all are. They are human beings, you know, and they know a lot, they observe a lot, they learn a lot, and they can do a lot.
I think that the talking that you said is very important, even not just for little kids, even for teenagers, because I would, you know, if maybe there's a commercial on TV, you're watching TV with your teenage children, it's like, what do you think of that commercial? And they can generate their thoughts about it, you know, and then you can give your own thinking about it, so they can measure that against their friends.
So true.
And that may make them go on in the narrow path. Otherwise, if you don't talk to them, they would just go with their friends or something, which may not be the best thing for teenage life. Yes, you know.
Yeah, and children they are good judges of character sometimes.
Absolutely.
Sometimes even in their spirit, they see, they sense things. There are times when our children don't want to go somewhere with somebody, whether it's a relative or I mean, we'd say, oh, just go to, but they see something. There's something, in them that they see that we don't see. So what we're relearning is that don't force them to go to people that they don't want to go to. You don't know what they're seeing, and they make good judgments, even as children. And we talk also about structure and orderliness and consistency, and all those things are important as children to have good parenting.
Yeah, you know what our Bada framework for early education says that children are mighty learners. They are mighty learners, they are confident learners. They know, I mean, we're not leaving them to do things. That's what we're there to guide, so that we can, that learning that they know, we can put it in the proper perspective, so that we can bring in attitude, good manners and all that. But they are mighty learners. Everything is ready to go. And that's why they remember everything. You tell them something, they tell you back. They never forget. They don't, because they have that capacity to do that. I'm learning to, another thing about children I've learned in my dear home is that make the environment safe enough as much as you can make it. Because if you don't, you're going to be at loggerheads with the children, because you'll be, no, don't, please, no, do not. And the child will say, life is so boring. It's all about don'ts and no's and all that. So don't say too much no, because every no has a yes. That's another thing I learned.
Wow.
So rather than say the no, say the yes, because that's what the child will be able to act on. That's what the child will be able to act on. The child will act on what to do, because in the child's brain, this is the only thing I can do. Take this cup and bang it on the table. Bang, 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 bang. And then I go and say, no, don't bang on the table. And they will say, what else is in life to do? What else would there be in life to do? So what do I do in life? So instead of saying, don't bang the table, say, let me show you what to do. Why don't you do the cup like this? Or why don't you put the cup here? Or here, you can bang this. This is better. This is a drum. This is a drumstick. Okay. Tell the child what to do rather than what not to do.
So it's like redirecting the child to other things.
To the positive rather than say the negative.
No.
Because the negative stops there. From that moment, the child doesn't know what to do. You've only said, no, don't do this. Yeah. Okay, then what do I do? Because you can't think it through that way. Give me something else. Always give alternatives. Your every no must have a yes, and focus and emphasize the yes and not the no. That's ideas. I learned that so much. And it works so, that's when you see, you just give a child an instruction and the child does it. Because you're not telling the child. No, they don't. And you're not telling the child no, because the child now has an alternative and he just goes in that direction and does it. It's so beautiful.
A lot of times they remember. So since you, Sam, you are also conversant with Omar's place.
Yes.
Mr. Sam.
Mr. Sam.
Mr. Sham.
Mr. Sham. That's my name.
Mr. Sham.
So what do you see in the difference in how you treat them right now from what you used to do with your little ones when they were growing up?
In all honesty, it's a serious new learning level, but I'm enjoying every bit of it. Nothing, honestly speaking, speaks to me better than when you have those lovely young birds, very innocent. When I say innocent, honestly speaking, they can fight in 1 minute, and less than 15 seconds or 30 seconds thereafter, they're playing together again. They just don't even remember that they fought, And as part of child psychology as well, I find that they enjoy when you come in new, fresh. Don't be with them for too long so they can take a break, back out. When you're coming out fresh, Mr. Sam, everything about you was done is gone.
Yeah.
They're just taking what I do.
Now it's the present.
They are really a special blessings of the Lord in the lives of parents and grandparents. easy to nurture up that same way. You tend to have more time and patience with them than their real parents will do, because they are chasing so many other things at the same time.
Right. Like we did.
Exactly, like we did. So it's our own turn. But you know, guess what? In the olden days, I'm sure they would have possibly left you to just go and tend to your children. Most parents don't have, most grandparents don't usually have time for grandchildren. But thank God, I think that
it's changing.
Is shifted already. Which is a very good thing, because a child will always need somebody around to help them up. So I found it very, very interesting, very good experience, positive experience, very fulfilling. I look forward to it almost every day.
And that's what we say too, when you come to this country as an immigrant, check out what you can do, you know, because sometimes maybe it's the daycare, maybe it's the day home, maybe it's childcare, maybe it's a teaching job, whatever it is, you know, you never know. Learn something new, and you may be able to use it even more to make that money you're looking for, and also take care of your children at the same time.
That's correct.
So let's go into this parenting styles. I just want to talk quickly on that. Some of the things that I'm learning too in my practice is to see what is happening with different parenting styles that we know. Okay, so permissive parenting style has low control and high affection, where you know, the child is always, you're always there, you're always doing everything for them. Before they fall, you are there to pick them up. Before they, you know, it's like the
helicopter mom,
or dad, you know. So that's one of the parenting styles we call permissive. So the other one is disengaged, which is low control, low affection. It's like there's nothing even happening. And the parents are just doing their own thing. They leave the child on their own to fend for themselves in a way that is not effective for parenting. The other one is authoritarian, which is high control and low affection, where the control is there. You shouldn't do that, like you were saying. No, you know, get out of there. Don't do that. Don't do this, or you know, and the do this, and the child asks why. Don't ask me why.
Because I said it.
Because I said, right? And that's authoritarian, where there's no affection, no hugging after discipline, no, you know, or maybe a low level of that is happening. But what we really want to happen almost all the time on a consistent basis will be authoritative, which is high control, high affection, where we still have control, but at the same time we have affection. So this is where the parent will say, "I love you, and that's why I'm going to do you're going to do what I'm telling you, because I love you, because you know this is kind of better for you at this stage," or you know, those kinds of things. So that's where we learn to communicate more, talk more, and converse more with them.
Yes.
Okay. So what do you think of that as we round up?
Yeah, well, I think that the one where you show affection and you treat your child with love is certainly the better choice, right? And it's better way for a better society too, because they would hopefully know their limits, and be considerate of others, because you've shown them love too. You know, you haven't neglected them, so hopefully they'll be able to do that too.
You've modeled it for them. Awesome. Okay, so final thoughts on all of this parenting. I know that we can't talk enough about parenting, and a lot of people have different resources about parenting that they have really learned. We would like to hear from you. How do you do it as an immigrant in Canada? What do you do with your children to keep them safe emotionally, physically, and spiritually, and every other, and socially as well? And so we want to hear from you. Email us and let us know what you think. So,
Yeah.
final thoughts.
My final thought that I'm just thinking about is also work on your self-care as a child carer, whether parent or what I do. I realize that it is so important so that you can be fresh, you can be well rested, because you need energy. Those children, they've got energy.
Yeah.
You need you need energy to deal with them. But if you're worked out, spent, it will be very, very difficult to do. And I want to advise, and I want to also say to, that's parents now, even child carers, if you have an outfit, take holidays and let part of those holidays be paid for by the parents, because you're working for them. In fact, they are excited, they're happy, because they want a happy carer for their children. So don't be afraid to do so. And that's what God has helped me to do in my day home. So I have days that parents pay for my holiday, and I have the ones that they don't pay for. So in the end, I have quite some good time to take a break, so I can take care of myself.
Take time off.
As well, take time off, yeah.
Just going to say that parents should remember that they are heroes of their children. If they want the children to be quiet, they also have to be quiet. If they want the children,
they want the children to yell, they can yell.
So you have to model. You have to, because you are always teaching your children, whether they say anything or not. They are looking
teacher.
at you, and the way you deal with when you are ill, the way you deal with that, the way you deal with the government. They are all imbibing this stuff.
That's
Absolutely.
Thank
very,
you.
very
Sam,
inspiring.
any-
And yeah, my compliment. I was just going to speak about almost in that same direction.
Okay.
That these children are so precious,
Yeah.
and carers or caregivers are going quite a great length to do some work on them and build them up in centers, whether home or daycare centers. But it can be heartbreaking if those children go back home and there is no complementary effort of sustaining
What was
those
done?
building up
Wow.
efforts. So parents, whether you are from mixed culture or not, you got to accept responsibility to contribute your quota and be in tandem with whatever they are getting from their various teaching or
That's
their
a good
various
point.
schools. So that complementarily, the children will see growth here, they will see the same love back at home, and then they grow better. But grow a bit here, and then get back home is all who can shoot each other face, permissiveness.
Yeah.
So mixing those from authoritative, if you want to start allowing your child to be exposed to the whole spectrum of what they fall to permissive, you are not likely to get a good product. So work with your caregiver to ensure that you maintain momentum.
Yes, the consistency.
On
Thank you. Thank you so much. So
Pleasure.
there we go. Parenting 101 in a nutshell. We are talking about listening to your children, have many conversations, let them learn how to have conversations. We're modeling for them. Anything we do is like we're teaching them to do. And so understand that they make good judgments in a lot of ways, in many ways that we can ever imagine. And also, as parents, take care of yourselves. Watch what you're doing, watch where you go, or what's happening in your body. Go exercise, go on holiday, do whatever you need to do for self-care. Take care of yourselves. And we just say from there, thank you for watching, thank you for listening. We'll be really happy to hear from you. Please send us a message. Thank you and have a good one. Bye. Thank you so much for coming. You're welcome. That was good. That was good. Thank you so much. Awesome.
Thank you.